Hi, I'm Addie, and I'm going to be doing my speech on why you should adopt from shelters instead of shop from breeders. So, one of the millions of stories around the world of people saving animals is my neighbors and my close friends. So, when they were younger, they wanted to adopt a dog. They went to the shelter initially, and none of them felt right. You know the feeling when you meet your animal, it's like, yes, this is my pet. So they went, they looked around, couldn't find anyone that felt right, and then they met Maggie. But she had cancer in one of her legs and was really sick, which is one of the reasons why she hadn't been adopted yet. Because a lot of people don't want to adopt animals that are going to cost extra medical bills and care when they bring them home. But none of the other animals felt right, so they took a chance and they brought Maggie home, paid for her leg that had the cancer in it to get amputated, and once she was all better, she lived a happy and healthy life, and she was their family dog for, I think, like 15 years. And that is just one of the millions of stories of why you should give animals in the shelters a second chance. Okay, so besides that, the first part is money. Everyone likes to save money. Everyone wants to be cheap. Even if you have money, you can't lie, you want to get a deal. So that's just one of the many things of why shelters are better. Shelters are only $55 to $160 for cats and dogs, somewhere in between there for every animal that's in a shelter. And breeders are $5,000 and below to like $500. Like $500 to $5,000 is how much a breeder would be for a high-end dog, which is a very big difference. So that's just one point, but that's probably the least important out of this bigger picture. The second point is that it saves so many animals' lives. 1.5 million animals are put down in shelters every year, and that's 5,500 each day, just because they haven't found a home yet. There's just not enough people that are looking for animals to adopt them. That's the only reason. They lose their lives just because there aren't enough people to adopt them. And the reason for that is because a lot of people already have dogs from breeders or previous dogs from shelters, and if more people just bought from shelters, more animals would have homes, because some people just stick to the breeders. We want a fancy dog, we want this purebred, fancy mix thing, whatever. A lot of people are very stingy with that, and they stick to that point, which they shouldn't. They should think about it, at least. And the last thing is cruel breeding. 2.1 million animals are sold through puppy mills every year, and that's where puppies that are bred by breeders are sold. That's what it's called. It's called a puppy mill. And then 3 million of those that are bred with the breeders are given to the shelters because they didn't get adopted for whatever reason. Like they made a litter and 2 puppies just didn't get a home. There weren't enough people. So they'll go and they'll give them to the shelter, which they'll either be sold there, most likely because puppies and kittens usually sell the fastest because people love the baby animals. Or if they don't, they'll be put down there. But if they are sold there, it's still taking up time and resources and space in the shelters for the other animals that have been there waiting for a home, because they can only have a certain amount. They can't fit a ton of animals in with only a certain amount of cages. So that's when they start putting them down, because if they're there for a certain amount of time, they just think they're not going to get a home, and they'll start putting them down to fit more because it keeps coming in. That's why the breeders, it's a constant cycle, because they're always creating more puppies, but some aren't getting home, so they're just adding and adding. And then sometimes, say they sell one to someone, but then it ends up not working, that person will take them to the shelter. Like, there is just way too many stray animals in the country that need homes, that we shouldn't be creating more and making a bigger problem and a bigger cycle. And whether your animal is $3,000 purebred, super fancy, or $50 and has some raggedy fur or a limp or something, you will love that animal just the same, and it does not make a difference whether they are expensive, cheap, really pretty, or kind of raggedy and worn down or old. They will love you just the same, and I guarantee they will make your home just as great as any other dog would. And that is just a few reasons why you should adopt from shelters and not shop from breeders to save the animals' lives.